My name is Sarah Suliman. I'm an immunologist from Sudan with an interest in public health and infectious disease prevention. I'm also very much interested in empowering female African scientists at every level. I have a PhD in immunology and a master's of public health. After my PhD, I decided to move to South Africa because I was interested in infectious diseases that particularly affected Africa. So in South Africa, it was the perfect blend of a solid infrastructure to conduct medical research, as well as access to the communities that were directly impacted by devastating infectious diseases like TB and HIV. So the aim of my research was to develop a prognostic test that would predict whether someone would be at high risk of developing TB disease after being exposed to someone with TB. So I analyzed samples from 3 different African sites from individuals that were exposed to someone who has TB in their household, but were healthy at the time that they were exposed to that TB patient. And the idea was to trace these individuals for a period of 2 years and see which of them progresses to active TB disease and which of them do not, and then compare samples from the progressors and non-progressors in order to identify genes that were associated with the risk of progression to active TB disease. So at the end of the project, I identified 4 genes that showed an expression pattern that was associated with high likelihood of developing TB disease. And we call this test risk 4. And the idea is to implement risk 4 into field application where we can use it to screen individuals who are in direct contact with TB patients in order to flag individuals that are at high risk of progression to TB disease and administer preventative treatments such as antibiotics or host-directed therapies. So this would have an impact on directly curbing the transmission of TB in the community, and particularly in areas that are still endemic for TB, such as Southern Africa. I believe that I'm a NEF fellow because I'm passionate about working with other African scientists and particularly women. I'm also passionate about developing technologies that have a direct impact on improving the health of Africans. However, what I did notice is that the representation of African scientists, particularly women, in the leadership structure of these scientific consortia is still highly limited. And I wanted to work on building networks of African scientists so that we can collaborate across different countries and even different continents to basically lead scientific discoveries ourselves that would have a direct impact on African innovation.